managing director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
You know, I said this a little bit last week, and I got to say it again, Tony. I don't know how you. Well, I know how you did it. You did it with great information and incredible skill. But I mean, you started light years behind, me and a lot of other folks in the social media realm, and now you're just blowing past everybody with followers and likes and all that good stuff because, every time you post something, a whole bunch of eyeballs are on it, and people are paying attention. Our very good friend Tony D'Angelo, who joins us every single Tuesday at the brand new time of 7:05, give him a little bit more breathing room to get into stuff, and we welcome him back to the program. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Proud to be among you and everyone. I meet some really great people. There are a lot of great Americans still, and I don't want any of us to forget that, especially me.
Yeah, there are a lot of great. Yeah, there are a lot of great people out there. A lot of great patriotic people for sure, and they want to make a difference, and they want to live in that sort of that world, that
they
nation.
They want to be free.
Yeah, they want to be free. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Hey, today we're going to cover a couple of different topics, but you wanted to start by handing out maturity pills. What does that mean?
A number of things are dawning on me. It's possible at my age, and here's a few reality bites for the political class, the media, people running and things like that. I listen, I observe. Yogi Berra was right. You can observe a lot merely by watching. There was a very good article that ran in the Wall Street Journal on January 28th by a gentleman, Jason Riley, about the Trump boom and how it helped people of color and how by removing people of color from the, shall we say, the service economy and moving them into things that are more intellectually based, the economic system raised. And there's a lot of reasons why that happened. And when you mention, now again, I am not I will not call myself a Trumper. I try to look for good things that anybody might be doing because we don't have enough good things. And when you see political parties, when you see the Republican Party, the National Republican Party running from Trump, ad hoc, just running down the road, why can't we, and this is the thing I don't understand, why can't we just extract out the parts that work? Because they did work. I mean, compare economics 2 years ago to what's now. I mean, it's like, this is better. This is a better thing.
No.
You walk in the store and there's like 3 items where there used to be 200. It's absolutely incredible. I don't understand the fear, the weak-mindedness, and the fact that people are not able to extract out what works. I mean, Barack Obama did a couple of good things. I mean, maybe, it was like 2 to 99, but he did do a couple of good things. And this is the part I don't get, and this dawned on me at 3 in the morning. I'm back to 3 a.m. thoughts. The Volkswagen and the Mercedes-Benz came out of Nazi Germany. It was German engineering that did that. The space rockets were the German scientists. The United States had enough sense to extract that. But yet if that were Donald Trump, we wouldn't be doing any of that. I just don't get the cowardness. I just don't get the weak-mindedness. I mean, and this is the whole thing. Why don't things work? Because people don't extract out what does work and maybe leave aside the other stuff that doesn't happen. And I am just so incredibly disgusted with that today. Because this fellow that wrote this article in the Wall Street Journal hit it right on the label.
I'm so glad you brought that up because this is a thing that's been bothering me for a while. You're about 1,000 bajillion% right on this. But here's the issue to me, and this is the way I see it, and you can talk to this, is that I think that reporters and this new age of journalism, they're clever. They understand that they can put somebody – no, what I mean by that is they can put somebody in a box.
Horribly clever. Incredible.
Yeah, by asking these specific questions. For example, okay, you ask a question, what's your position on Donald Trump? The Republican candidate gives the answer that you just said and they should give this answer. If you liked his immigration position, you say, I like this, I like this, I like that. What I didn't like was this, that, and the other. Well, then the clever journalist will pivot if he doesn't, get what he wants out of that answer, and will go, well, what about January 6th? And then if that politician doesn't give a good enough answer for that, they'll pivot. It's like a vice. They constantly squeeze on a topic, in particular with the state of Connecticut. Like if you're running for a position, a statewide office, like a state senator, you shouldn't answer any questions about Trump. What's the difference? You're never going to make any decisions on federal issues. That's not what they do.
But except for the fact, Lee Elci, that, we need that kind of economic system here. We need that kind of economic thinking. We're getting childishness, and we're getting, DECD and throwing money at things and digital.
No question. No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is sometimes they make these uber local races, they try to turn them into a Donald Trump narrative. Why do you have to talk about Donald Trump if you're going to be, a school board member or a dog catcher for that matter?
Oh, it's entirely ridiculous. Well, here's something they can say. It's like, Mr. Clever, Wesleyan educated reporter, have you or your family ever owned a Volkswagen? Have you ever owned a Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah.
Were you ever interested in the space program? Thank Nazi Germany.
You're exactly right.
It wasn't happening in America, folks.
You're exactly, and you make such a great point. And as far as taking some of the good things out of it, and we all know, like a lot of us are on the same page, like you're on, is that Trump did a lot of things that made me go, "Oh my God, please shut up, stop."
Exactly.
But at the same time, he did a lot of things. I do want America first. Yeah, I do want to do this, that, and the other. I feel like we should prop up ourselves. I think we should love our country. Does this president love our country? No, he hates it.
I don't know what he loves.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
Right.
He loves ice cream, I guess. So I don't know. Yeah. I think you're right on the money though with what you're saying, and I appreciate.
Well, at least we know there's one cat in the United States of America that's getting cat food. I can't get cat food. It's hysterical. I walked into Pomfret Mart yesterday, and he had five cans on the shelf when I was there the previous day. I came back, and there was one, and I bought it.
Wow.
And the very nice young Arabic gentleman shrugged his shoulders and said, I can't get it. It's unbelievable.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. There is a cat food shortage.
I did not know that. I don't have a cat.
Yeah,
so
and, we're getting to, we're going to have to make liver and things like that.
Yeah.
And this is not America, people.
It's nuts. It's nuts where we are. Again, it's just a constant. It's like the frogs in the boiling water. We're just taking it. So,
amazing.
What else you got today?
Yeah, put it this way: if we're going to get back to reality and fiscal responsibility and being mature and things like that, and this might take a couple of sessions, and that's okay. I've started to look at our lovely flagship state university, the University of Connecticut, that through it all and through all the financial abuses and things like that, this has always been a sacred cow. I mean, unfortunately, it's starting to get bad now because now the state treasury is kind of running in to prop it up because it's just so bloated and, mismanaged and things like that. But if you go, and the reason is this has been kind of a, whatever you want to call it, sort of like a big backslapping, kumbaya type thing, going back to UConn 2000 in 1995. Now, in 1995, UConn was a dump. John Rowland was the governor. He says, hey, we got to build up the state university. Well, build-up started to come to build-up, and ever since then it's been, no real scrutiny. It's just been backslapping and spending, and no one's given it a hard look. Both parties, all have fallen short and sinned. Now, the situation with the athletics department is kind of like a boil that's coming to the top. But I started to look at just some basic chicken scratch math. How much money goes into this place? Now, if you take spending, and I'm not counting contributions. Contributions are not a driving force other than a couple of huge bequests that were received, and we'll get into that. But the Treasury has spent $13 billion over 10 years in putting money into UConn. You look that up on the state checkbook. Tuitions, I calculate about $25,000 average per year for 10 years, and times the number of students, maybe $6.25 billion. So it's $19.25 billion that have gone into this place. Now, there's a total living of $255,000 alumni. You could find that as well pretty easily. And assuming a third of these alumni are within the past 10 years, it comes to $225,000 per person. I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money and give them these kind of economics in the state, you might as well go buy gold and throw it in the backyard. It's absolutely unbelievable. It doesn't count all the other stuff that absolutely, that comes in there. And people say, well, look at the marquee value. Yeah, I mean, but it's like champagne taste with a beer pocketbook, and the spending just keeps going on and on.
We've been talking. Yeah, no. You talking? I mean, well, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I mean that's the University of Connecticut. I'm sorry.
No, I think you're right. We started this discussion about them years ago, and they do a lot of great things. There's no question about it. But you're always asking that question: is where's all this money going? Which is what you're alluding to. I don't know. We pay them.
Well, I hear a lot. I hear from Bob Stefanowski. I hear from other people. We need a forensic audit, and I mean, it's like, hey, fellas, ladies, I mean, this can't be the sacred cow anymore. It just can't. We're going to get into a couple of things, and if you don't agree with me now, maybe you'll agree with me in 5 minutes. Fundamentally, and we talked about this, the University of Connecticut lost its tax exemption about 11 years ago, and you can look that up on the IRS website. I don't know why this happened. I'm looking into it. They're not real kindly when I'm pressuring them for information. Was it because of the fact that there are certain limits in a nonprofit where you can't just you can't pay people bulbously, and there's a 10-person rule and things like that? Or was it because they just wanted to blow by it and say, we want to pay people these absurd, incredible salaries? I do not know, but the fact of the matter is the fundamental tax exemption for the university is not there. So how does the university operate? Because they've got to function. In some cases, they've got to masquerade as a public tax-exempt organization. Enter the University of Connecticut Foundation. This was kind of like a little-known pass-the-hat charity, very similar to like the licensing fund in the NFL in the 1950s. We'll sell a few jerseys, we'll have a couple of hats, and we'll do a picnic every once in a while, and maybe have a little pension money for the players. This is kind of what this was. But since you no longer had a tax-exempt university, you had to have something to quote-unquote grow the investments tax-free and to accept contributions and things like that, and kind of quack like a duck. So the exemption letter for this was in 2016. Now, it's very interesting that how this thing really kind of works is that it does accept donations. Again, the donations are not major, but in critical mass, there is some information available. You can go and actually look at the financial statements, the ones that they give you. And they claim they have in June 30th, 2021, $686 million of investment. Of that $686 million of investment, 42% of that is in private equity. That's not uncommon. When colleges talk about these big endowments and they're worth this and whatever the case may be, a lot of the stuff isn't public. But my first question is, okay, knowing what we do, knowing what we've covered and that sort of thing, how much Ned money's in there? Mm. I mean, where's the firewall to tell me that that's not Ned money?
I don't know. I have no idea.
We don't know that. They're not telling us that. But when you do actually start to look at it, there are some things that are available to you. One thing caught my eye that was really kind of interesting. And again, this is going to be a little bit of a saga. There is something called the Horse Barn Hill Investment Fund. Doesn't that sound real romantic and really sweet? Horse Barn Hill, the agriculture and things like that. When you actually look at the Horse Barn Hill Investment Fund, the Horse Barn Hill Investment Fund Limited, its incorporation is in the Cayman Islands. It's right there on the SEC site. So we have a tax-exempt foundation investing $50 million. Got that, kids? $50 million plus in the Cayman Islands. think about all you folks out there that are struggling to pay your UConn tuitions for your kids. Why the Cayman Islands? Who ever heard of the Cayman Islands in Connecticut before Ned Lamont?
That's right.
I mean, the people in this show, and maybe certain people in the political class, don't want to hear about it. But, we have a tax haven investment in the Cayman Islands. How did this go about? There's some connective tissue here. The timing of the investment, June of 2020. Right before or right after Oak 3 in 2019 and Oak 4 2021. The sponsor is BlackRock. Now, BlackRock was the other major underwriter other than Oak HCFT of Semaphore. And the guy that's the chief investment officer of the foundation spent 14 years at BlackRock. This is all kind of like a tight little island. And, I mean, so I'm kind of wondering, okay, we see smoke. We're not really seeing any flames, but we're thinking, what's going on here? So, and this is critical information that I think every person should know. I asked for the minutes, the reasons, what's happening here, what's taking place. In typical Connecticut cut and run fashion, it had to change.
Tony, I lost you.
She said, we don't have to give you anything, D'Angelo, because we are a tax-exempt foundation, and we are exempt from freedom of information laws. Now, number one, that's incorrect. That if you look at the statute, 437E, it says we don't have to do public disclosure for any tax-exempt organization established for the principal purpose of receiving or using private funds for charitable, scientific, cultural, educational, and all of that. The UConn Foundation, the way it functions is that their largest source of revenue, other than a couple of large inheritances, is investment fees for the state money. Contributions are really very small. So, I mean, it's the kind of thing that we have this huge, bulbous foundation that's doing whatever. If something collapses with that, the state has got to bail it out, and they don't want to tell us a thing. I mean, what's wrong with this picture?
Well,
Pogo.
Well, Tony, at least we got a really good NCAA football team out of it.
Yeah, let's take infield, right?
Hey, let me, before, we're going to run out of time, and you've got a big fan who, we may go in a different direction, but I did want to give him a chance to talk to you because he's waiting on hold forever. Do you mind taking a call quickly from Walter? All right. Well, Walter, you're on, my friend. You're on with Tony D.
Hi, Walter.
Yeah, hi, Lee. Hi, Tony.
What's happening?
Hey, Tony, you brought up a good subject or issue earlier and everything. And, which I've been thinking about, and you too, Lee, you were given, taking part in it, what the true citizen should be thinking today is, what can I do for my country?
Yes.
To make it better. What can I do for my state and my city to make it better? What can I contribute to it? Because all we have done in the past, some years now, I would say, I know a good 40 years probably is, what can the country do for me, or the state do for me, or what the city can do for me? That has to stop.
Walter, it's that continual dependency, and the biggest concern I have is, if you're raised and you're trained to be dependent, you'll never be able to make it on your own, and that's
you're right. You're right, Tony. We become weaker. You're right.
Terribly weaker.
Yes. Yeah.
Terribly weaker.
You sound good, Tony. You're right on. But I'll tell you, I can brag in my lifetime, and I enjoy doing it. I have built over 150 homes here more. God only knows how many additions or, rehabs or something like that and everything else. And I served on over 15 committees, pro bono, all pro bono, city council, pro bono and everything, trying to make knowledge better. And it is because of people like you, and people don't get that today, Walter. They just don't.
Yep.
No, they got to stop this taking and taking and taking, and you owe me. And this and that.
Hey, somebody.
And there's the social justice thing. Well, you had the advantages, I didn't. It's just like,
equity versus equality. No question. Hey, there was a guy who once said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Remember that guy, Walter?
Well, I'm going to be real quick with this, Lee. That statement, even though I believe in it, was not an original statement of John F. Kennedy. That came out of the graduation programs. I had a neighbor that passed on years ago in Pomfret who was a member of JFK's graduating class at Choate Prep School in 37. Ask not what Choate can do for you, but ask what you could do for Choate.
Oh, is that right?
Okay, got it. Yep, you can look it up.
Interesting. All right. Guys, I got to run. I'm out of time. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee.
All right, pal. Tony D.